Cute Without the E, a cut from the team, is one of the most iconic pop punk songs. It is the third track on Taking Back Sunday's debut album, Tell All Your Friends, which is actually a piece of lyric from this song. Today, we're gonna be talking about the song meaning. At a very high level, the song is about a guy whose girlfriend cheats on him, but he's like so in love with her that he actually still wants to be with her in hopes that she will stay with him and not leave him for the other guy. So in the intro, he kicks things off by the sight of infidelity, your lipstick, his collar. So what he's saying here is that he's observing his girlfriend's lipstick on another guy's collar, which makes it really obvious that she's cheating on him. But when he tells her not to bother explaining because he can see what's happening, he calls her Angel, which is kind of like still saying that regardless of what he's doing, he sees her as this like pure and innocent thing that he still admires. The first verse is quite powerful. Actually, growing up, I didn't really know what was happening here, probably because English is actually my second language. But now hearing it and understanding what it means, I think it's very well put together. He's telling his girlfriend that she has a choice to make. She can get everything that she wanted, which is probably the other guy, because clearly she's not interested in him anymore. But he asks her, do you prefer my finger on the trigger or me face down across the floor? What this symbolizes is him holding a gun to her, forcing her to stay with him, because that's what would make him happy, or he would end up on the floor from her shooting him or him shooting himself upon the sight of her leaving him. And he says just as long as this thing's loaded, in another way of saying it doesn't matter what happens next, somebody is gonna get hurt. But in essence, this section is really strongly showing how he's so in love with her that regardless of her cheating, he still wants to be with her. Also notice how he calls her princess, similarly to how he called her angel. This could of course just be like passive aggressiveness, or it could be his like just blinded by love and he still sees her as a princess and still wants to be the chosen one for her, even though she's clearly cheating on him. The chorus comes in to kind of like emphasize his pain. He imagines she's gonna go and tell all her friends how she's gonna leave him and realizes that it was just wishful thinking on his part that things were gonna stay the same and that they would still move on and be together. She has her gun to his head, so she has a lot of power over him. The second verse comes in and it's very clear that she's kind of trying to make excuses for what's going on, but he tells her not to bother. In an almost stalkery or obsessive way, he says that he stands outside of her window and like has seen the infidelity. When he says watching him keep the details covered, what I imagine that it means is that they're both naked, but he's on top of her, so that's blocking his view of the details. That's at least what I understand from it. Then she tells her that she's just a sucker for a sweet talker. This suggests that he thinks that he's a better match for her and that she's just easily falling into any guy's arms that is nice to her or that like sweet talks his way into her pants. The chorus then repeats again one more time, but there's an interesting additional background vocal in this chorus. My theory for this lyric is that he was so invested in his work that he would kind of not make as much time for her as he maybe used to, and it's possible that she had maybe asked him to slow down or to spend more time with her, but he didn't want to be held back in his career or following his dreams, so he just kept doing what he was doing, which allowed for her to have more time to meet other people or to cheat. So he regrets the fact that he didn't let her hold him back in his career or in his ambitions, because then maybe he would still be with her. This was a line that I actually kind of struggled to wrap my head around, but this was the best way that I could make meaning out of it. But I am really curious if you have a different understanding of what this means. Because the first time I heard it, I was like, wait, why does he regret that he was never held back by her, you know? I had also asked on Reddit and some people just suggested that Taking Back Sunday very often puts nonsense lyrics on their songs to make them sound good. But since this song is so story driven, I really doubt that that would be the case. When the bridge arrives, our narrator is just filled with desperation, hoping for the best, just hoping nothing happens. So his best case scenario is that things go on as if nothing had happened. So he wants to just pretend that she didn't cheat on him and stay with her and continue in their relationship. The 1,000 clever lines unread on clever napkins paints this picture of him making notes of things that he wants to say to her, but ultimately just go unsaid. The line, "I will never ask if you won't ever tell me," is so powerful because he's referring to being in love. He's saying he's not gonna ask her if she loves him as long as she doesn't say it, because he knows that the answer is that she doesn't love him. And he prefers to live in a lie with her and be with her than not be with her. And he acknowledges the fact that she won't ever love him, and that's really painful for him. The bridge repeats over a few times and some cry in the background is added. So our narrator is very troubled and desperate to feel emotions evoked through somebody else. Because even though she's clearly not interested in him anymore, he's desperately in love with her, but any attempt to feeling emotion from somebody else is not working out for him. And she's the only one capable of evoking emotions for him. So he just wants to get out of that feeling and be able to move on. The bridge ends with our narrator blaming the whole situation on her, which obviously because she cheated on him. And that just makes the whole thing worse, that it's her fault, because he's so blinded by love that he's willing to forgive her. We arrive at the outro where our narrator expresses his disbelief. He stays wrecked and jealous. He's defeated. He's broken down. He's not able to move from how badly wounded he is. And this is because he has kept her in mind as something larger than life. He puts her up on a pedestal. She's an angel. She's a princess. Showing that to him, she's so amazing that it's so difficult to move on. This segment again repeats, but we get some additional lyrics in the background, where he's saying that she's essentially not going to change. She's always going to be this type of person to destroy everyone around her, all her relationships, but always finding a way to blame someone else. Which means probably after her cheating, she found a way to say, hey, this is actually your fault. Which is also why he's reiterating in the song, like, hey, this is on you. You created this whole situation. And that is it for my breakdown of the lyrics and song meaning for Cute Without the E, a cut from the team by Taking Back Sunday. I would love to know your theories if you have anything, or if there's any specific lyrics that I didn't look at close enough that you think are interesting. Also let me know below, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye!